Hello, and welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Hey, welcome to the Sad Dads Club podcast, episode 158.
Yeah.
I'm the Lord Foo.
I'm Jim.
So, isn't it funny though that we went through the cycle of no structure, structure, really tried really hard structure, and now it is what it. Who did Grant? He sent me one. He's like, "You guys are like the Seinfeld of podcast. You just talk about nothing, but you fill."
Is it
a thing?
Is that good though?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's fine for me.
Yeah.
And we're not getting...
Hey, people are going to listen or they're not going to listen.
It's what I use to... If you're not subscribing to the OnlyFans or the Fan House or the Patreons or the... Yeah. What's the other one? Well, the one that almost got banned, but they got unbanned with the porn.
Oh.
Well, it's OnlyFans.
Yeah, OnlyFans.
Did you see that they backed that one out?
Yeah, I did.
Like, by the way, okay.
No, it's for real.
When we said no more porn, what we meant was, hey, go ahead. And it's funny that in that time, other ones had spawned up as like places for.
Oh no, you can come here. We're fine.
Yeah. One that kicked off. It was like essentially like NC-17 stuff. I already mentioned it. It was Fan House.
Oh, I don't know anything about that one.
They are OnlyFans light. Like apparently you can't do flat out porn, like genital exposure or acts, but you can do, if you're covering up your nipple.
So if you like put the X tape on your nipple,
if pasties or suggestive, but nothing with like fucking fluid transfer or anything. But enough people have gone there that it's now it's OnlyFans has competition. Now, obviously, they didn't fully unplug stuff, but I'm sure it was enough where some people had to go other places and start. So now you almost have a problem where some people may have started subscribing to other services, and now you may potentially have a problem with whoever your donor base is, where you've got some that are doing OnlyFans, some that are doing Patreons, some that are doing Fan House, or whatever it is.
Yeah. But
when you would try and get people consolidated.
Doesn't YouTube have some of that? I mean, they have like 18 and over video stuff, and I think don't they have subscription based?
They do. They have YouTube has subscription stuff.
But it
over
probably,
adult or over 18. I don't know.
Well, I know that. I mean, I've run across links to videos where it's like you have to be 18 to see this video. Log in or something, and you're like, what?
I don't know if there's a way to monetize that.
Oh, maybe that's part of it.
And they've started to run into things where I think we've talked about it off show. A lot of because Twitch has a problem in general too. Twitch, owned by Amazon, takes such a chunk out of the I'm going to say the donation or the subscription service that you give to whoever you may be watching.
Yeah.
That enough people have started. Oh, you had it. Enough people have started trying to find ways to make sure that the content creator is getting more of the service. I don't recall the actual percentage that YouTube gives you. But Twitch was over 50%. And once they started running into problems, it was like, hey, we're glad to take your money, but content creators themselves, you can tip, but you can also monthly subscribe, and those things are everyone takes a chunk of the pie. I think YouTube gives the content creator more of the pie. The problem being with YouTube is that Twitch owns 65+% like the broadcast entertainment content creator.
The live streaming.
Yeah.
Type stuff.
If you're going to go watch someone in a bathtub, watch someone play chess, watch someone play Overwatch, Fortnite, Call of Duty.
Well, I think
that's
really the place that you're gonna do that. I think for the most
it
part.
is, but YouTube is catching up.
Yeah.
Just recently, there were 2 to 4 really high name Twitch content creators whose contract ran up, and they left the platform to go to YouTube. They're getting paid tons of money on YouTube, but the way that the statements being made by those content creators are, they're done. They're fine where they're at, and they're making tons of money, and they have no reason or desire to go back to Twitch. Yeah. And if you listen to anyone that's doing Twitch stuff, honestly, they'd tell you that tools and services and abilities of you to monetize or do things to your channel, filters, hate raids, and stuff like that. Twitch is like the big Goliath that's like, we run the show. Why would we bother changing anything or doing anything when we have no real competition, kind of a thing? So you have a bunch of content, like if you want to make a name, you want to do content creation as a business, Twitch is where you go, but you're taking it in the backside because some of the tools and whatnot are being like they're resting on the laurels kind of thing.
Right.
It's like, you have to come here.
Yeah.
We run the show.
Yeah.
You play by our rules. If you're sad about it, leave. I dare you.
Right.
You can go to YouTube, but 65% of your audience is probably over here anyway. Try it.
It's funny because, like, for my personal viewing things, like, I don't really even mess with Twitch. Like, there hasn't been much content on there where I'm like, oh, I need to watch that. I need to like make sure I'm on Twitch because I need to watch this particular content or whatever. I haven't run across that content yet.
I can tell you from mine, because I think like Data is, I'm probably more of a consumer of that than you probably are. And where I go to watch, if I'm not watching a YouTube video for learning or just some other time sink, where I would go and watch TV as a younger person and watch TV to fill time, I would go to Twitch and watch, Halo championships, Call of Duty stuff,
that's the thing.
Or Destiny.
I think like that's sort of how it got you there, is the gaming aspect of it, which is what it was designed for initially.
Yeah.
But I'm not a huge gamer.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm not a big, I don't care to watch other people play games. That doesn't sound interesting to me. What's interesting to me is like original content that's like compelling, like, someone's spending the time to produce this content and putting it together as a package that you can view at your own leisure, not something's live and I need to go watch it right now.
Right.
That doesn't interest me at all.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's just where you get your bag. Like I equated like my early interest in Twitch in like watching baseball, football. I really went over there originally to watch people play Destiny PvP or Halo tournaments. One, to try and learn maps and strategies and tactics and whatnot in playing PvP against other people.
Right.
Pick up on that. But I looked at it not too far off different than, watching Notre Dame play, Michigan or something like that.
Yeah.
It was like two really good players. And then as eventually, to kind of get it in the end, the players, hey, baby. the players and the content creators that I would go to Twitch to watch, they've all gone to YouTube. So now I find myself outside limited circumstances, I get that type of fill the gap live entertainment of contests, whether it's tournaments and whatnot, on YouTube, because those people have moved over. So I get my learning, my kill time ASMR or whatever, or my how-tos or random rabbit hole fucking garbage things.
Yeah.
It all seems to it's much more centralized on YouTube.
I mean, we could live stream this show to Twitch and YouTube if we wanted to.
Yeah.
AJA makes a thing that would allow us to do that.
I don't know if I have the bandwidth.
You may not.
Dude, and fucking speaking of bandwidth.
Your upload speed is definitely...
Yeah. Fuck off. But, there's a whole bunch of fuck offs coming.
Oh, is there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So, to circle back to something that we probably haven't talked about in a long time. January 1, brother and sister-in-law and their 2 girls, my nieces, lost the house in the house fire. Literally January 1. Support and outpouring, gifts, donations, GoFundMes, all of those things. I couldn't say enough thank yous to everyone is a listener who donated, friends who aren't listeners that donated, people I don't even know who donated time and things so that the girls had stuff. An amazing outpouring from people I know and don't know who just wanted to do well by someone else and put a silver lining on an absolute shit situation. Thank you. They thank you. So if you've never spoken to them, thank you. They send their thanks back.
Bob Dole thanks you.
Yeah. They just this week Friday of last week had inspections on the house. So they've rebuilt the house.
It's the newest house in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. By far.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yep.
It stands out. But you wouldn't know it by the lawn because the lawn is fucking dead. Hashtag sorry, brother. I told you I'd get you back for the internet stuff. So went and saw the house. They're moved in to a capacity, right? They're still trying to furnish the house because they just moved back in. I went over there. They're excited. The girls are excited. I mean, they've been living in the RV since January 2.
You couldn't not be excited to move
right.
out of the RV.
They've got space. Like I said, they're still furnishing, so they're working on air mattresses, and they don't have couches yet, but the appliances are there, obviously running water and everything. So they're living there back in their own space. Brett, brother, was having problems with their Xfinity connection, and they've got, I think we were talking to Argonaut, had mentioned that Comcast or Xfinity or whatever what's the Roseville?
Yeah, I think, was that me that was?
Yeah. No, whatever Roseville's.
Consolidated?
Consolidated,
oh, yeah,
I think was putting in gigabit over by Argonaut, hashtag Argonaut. So that we had a joke about my internet not being, fuck off. See, they're coming. Brett, right there, has Xfinity. We have Xfinity.
Yeah.
And he was like, the guy came over, I've got fucking gigabit. Now, my brother, like me, is a gamer. For the bulk of the entire family household, like our household, is also streamer, mostly as far as entertainment. So your Netflix, your Amazon Primes, Hulu, blah, 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 blah. All of the streaming services is the bulk of the entertainment. Plus, everybody in the house is a gamer. Switches, PCs, PS5s.
Yeah.
He's having a problem setting up his gigabit network.
You're like, just doing that.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, I'll come over and I'll help you out. And he's like, I'm having a stroke trying to get through some of this shit, and I'm done. I'm like, well, if you've got internet, I'm just trying to make sure that he's not bogged down. Like they're moving into the house. There's nothing about this should suck. So I'm like, I'll come over. If there's someone to help you with networking, take a picture of my home rack. I'm like, I got you.
Yeah.
Like, and if I can't dial it in, I'll put Mike on a fucking voice call and we'll be fine.
Right.
I guarantee you we'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll have multiple networks. By
So
the time
I'm over
he's
there.
done.
We're working through he's got like a default router or a default cable modem unit and then his own home networking thing. We're working through that. It didn't, oddly, I don't think it was entirely his fault. It was like some of the Netgear devices weren't actually taking some of the setting changes. And I think we were...
Hold on.
Go.
Netgear.
Yeah. We were outpacing, I think, probably the help desk person that was processing this is my new MAC address for my cable modem. Please allow this. And so he'd get a green light saying it was approved, and then I'd get on the thing and be like, okay, so our changes are made. I think we were beating help desk to actually authenticating anyway.
I find that to be the case a lot of times.
Right, and that's new to me because the whole authenticating your cable modem, that's not how my Xfinity stuff works. So where there was a little bit of like, oh, okay, so he has to punch in a thing of the new MAC address in an app, get it approved, and then he's like, okay, and now it says it's good. And I'm just hammering away.
Right.
I've tweaked some settings in order to just get it live, get it working. Yeah, we're good to go. Happy. And I'm like, so now we're going to do speedtest.net and I took over a semi-beater 10100 hardlined Asus laptop, and
it was maxing out.
It was maxing out, and I'm like, oh, that's, and he's pissed.
Right.
Because it's like not gigabit, but I'm running 10100. and so it's like pegging somewhere around 600 to 700.
Yeah.
And decent down. But he's like, we pay for more. And I'm like, you need to just shut up because you're already twice as fucking fast as me. You need to calm down.
Right.
And then we both got on. I had his really nice new Asus laptop jacked in and gigabit on there. And then he runs a test, and he bing the fucking dial all the way to the
smoke's coming out.
Yeah, buries itself at the gigabit part, and I went,
there you go.
Wow, great. So then I attached the smartphone to the Wi-Fi, and the fucking Wi-Fi pegs as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, my laptop's it's just used to the old my network, so it was happy where it was. Anyway, so my brother's got super badass Wi-Fi GBs.
You're always welcome to feel some speed at my house.
God, yeah.
It's just down the street.
And the thing was, I go, so did they, when you got it all remodeled, did they run fiber out here? And he's like, no. And I went, nice.
Well, I told you I have 2 fiber offerings.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Just run a cable.
I'm thinking
all the way.
I'm thinking about getting like dual internet. I'm just gonna get like Xfinity and consolidated, and then like it'll be like ISDN.
Oh, you have just
but with
double
gigabit.
whammies.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking about doing that. Just because sometimes like it takes 16 or 17 seconds to upload this show to the server, and this is just too slow.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in the end, I don't know if I've ever run into really being pegged.
Well, what's interesting is you start to when you have really fast internet, you start to see
when it's not.
No, you start to see the servers that are the shit servers.
Oh, yeah.
So one of them is our host for the show, which is Libsyn.
Mm-hmm.
Their receiving speed is garbage. They are the slowest. It's terrible. So you start to see because like I was saying, I was joking, but it literally is pretty slow to upload our 65 megabyte file or whatever it is that we do for the show every week.
Yeah.
And it literally takes over a minute for this to go. And it's not because the internet's slow. It's because their server is just not
slow on up.
Their intake is very slow. So you start to see some of the servers that just don't have the performance, or they're throttling for whatever reason because they don't need to ingest it any faster. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you start to see that. You start to see a little bit of the breakdown. You don't need that. You don't need that kind of agitation.
Yeah. It'd just irritate me to have so much speed.
Yeah, it's like I have so much speed, but yet I can't utilize it all because of XYZ's server.
So you should just give yourself some consideration. Have you thought about just paying less for less speed then?
No, I paid less to get the faster speed.
Fuck you.
I was paying more. It was like, oh shit, we can save $5 a month and get gigabit? All right.
Oh,
Okay.
I think Venus was like, we should just check, because if he can have it out here, then why don't we have it? And I want to say I quickie looked the other day, and it might be available, but I'm concerned because of the way the pricing looked. It looked like it did look cheaper, but I'm not 100% if it's just giving you the menu of like, this is here, but when I click through, I'm going to get, but not in your area kind of thing. And also that's
always a possibility.
Right. The way that the pricing was worded, it was like, wow, yeah, that would be a cost savings for the first 6 months.
Right.
And it's like, well, what happened? Like, what is the after 6 months? Because the best I can tell, we've had the package that we've had with Xfinity here outside of the contract.
Yeah.
So we'd be grandfathered into whatever, and the moment we move one way or another, it might be cheaper, but we might get into maybe there's a limit or there's a throttling involved, and then after whatever the contract period is, it actually ends up being more expensive than what we're paying now.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, I'll look at this later. I mean, in the end, we do fine with the internet that we have.
Well, I mean, I never really considered it to be like a requirement, like having gigabit at home. When it became available, we kind of jumped on it.
Yeah.
But you really start to see what I said before, but even what for me personally, because of the nature of my work, is I'm a lot of times moving files from my office home, and we're talking like fairly large video files. I think one day I was doing a ton of transfers of just test files, and I think I moved 65 gigs of data of just downloading and uploading clips back and forth.
Yeah.
In just one day, 65 gigs. And that was, I mean, I couldn't have done that too easily, it would have been painful.
And I'll say too, I mean, a lot of it is we're memeing the pain points, but a lot of my early telecommuting work was a lot of that. There was a lot of, I'm remote desktopping to something far away. There's a lot of transfer that's happening a lot.
Yeah.
ISOs of an OS build being used on my machine here as a device to build a server somewhere else.
Yeah.
These are gigs upon gigs going across VPNs.
Yeah.
So having speed and a lot of bandwidth as far as like data capacity being unlimited was key, because I was doing that all the time.
Yeah.
That is not so much the case anymore.
Right.
Now we're using like VDIs, so I'm remoting into somewhere, and the traffic coming back to me here at the house is very minimal. I'm hopping into somewhere local to the network inside the enterprise, and all of it's being done there.
It's the light traffic between you and them.
Yeah. It's me just watching a screen of actual bandwidth going in between and network traffic in between the enterprise itself. No one's really coming to me here at the house. It's minimal traffic.
Well, and it's not uncommon for us at home to be doing like a 4K movie stream of some kind, Netflix or whatever it is, and to have Chandler in the other room gaming,
Right.
And then someone on the side while a movie's going on doing some other shit on their phone.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not uncommon now. Like, these are all things where you're like, oh, that never happens. No, it happens all the time.
I mean, if Chandler, it might be a thing. Certainly, if Chandler were starting to do, you lose a job or something, and it was like, oh, now you want to be a content creator kind of thing, and my upload to a broadcaster site was like actually paramount, and my ability to perform as a gamer in ping times was required. Then I'd probably be in a problem.
Well,
we've slowly evolved over time to not. Obviously, no one watches me play games. Well, and I'm not doing it. So
fortunately for him, he's got the only wired connection in the house. Everything else that is typically running off of our router is wireless, and he has like on his all the stuff that he has on his desk, which would be his computer and his Xbox and all that kind of stuff. Those are all on a wired switch in his room.
Yeah.
Which is something that I have to have Mike come over to help me with. I need to fish a wire, a Cat 6 or something, down to the space behind my desk because I want to get that machine off of Wi-Fi for performance because the router wireless performance isn't that good.
Yeah.
And it could be so much better.
It could be so much better.
Yeah.
Have you thought about a Netgear?
No. Actually, work gave me for testing stuff. I have a really nice. It's an older unit. I think it's a gigabit switch. It's a Cisco switch. It's like 32 ports or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's pretty good size. Like one RU rack that I just have sitting on my desk up against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
That stuff's plugged into the side. But that's a nice switch. I mean, it's got everything built into it and stuff I have no idea. Like, well, if I change this, what's that's going to do? I have no idea. There's like thousands of settings in there.
No,
I have no idea what any of it does. Its own DHCP server. It's got everything you could ever want. I think to build a network out of.
Yeah,
it'll do it. I have no idea.
Wow.
I'm just using it because I needed a DHCP server, and I needed something I could plug in all of our stuff to, and be able to get to.
We can tell you how to hook up a Raspberry Pi to do this, but we're going to send you a Cisco switch router.
Oh my gosh,
it's $600.
I almost feel like I need to be certified to utilize it properly because I've literally just scratched the surface. Like, I just need to turn on DHCP. Yeah. Where is that? Yeah. Oh, here's something that says DHCP. Oh.
Bink.
Okay, yeah. Okay, click. Turn that on. Oh, here's my number range. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Go for it. And then it's been working, so I'm not complaining at all. But it's way over my head, man. Some of the shit that's in there.
Yeah.
I don't understand how our IT guys know how to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they don't. Maybe.
I was talking with a legacy teammate at work, and we were talking about some of the roles that we used to do that we don't do anymore. And one of them was we used to build Cisco console servers for Sun servers. Yeah. So you didn't have ILOs or DRACs or PCs had essentially a card that was like a backdoor system with a minimal OS on it that you could use to remotely power off and whatnot. For Sun systems, you essentially had a network device that went in through a serial port that offered you the same kind of thing. It was a Cisco device, and we used to code, manage, build, and funny thing, the iOS name was Cisco iOS.
Yeah.
So I was working on. Apple didn't have a claim to fame on iOS.
That's interesting.
Cisco had it first, so it's funny. I'm man, I was working on iOS devices before. What the fuck is this? A joke that only really recently I went, wow, yeah, that's kind of funny.
I wonder if there was a trademark infringement thing.
I don't know.
Maybe they had to get permission to use iOS.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
but it was I used to be way deep into the pants of a network engineer, and then hashtag what?
Oh.
Hey. But that's something that, and Mike on occasion is because I think he dabbles with him and Dragon's network there has some of that stuff when they're setting up VLANs inside, super advanced from what I've got even here. He's like, hey, do you? I'm like, I did that almost 20 fucking years ago. I don't remember much.
Yeah.
I remember high level how to, but if you were to ask me commands, I'd be drawing blanks.
Yeah.
Blah, blah.
See, with that Cisco switch, it'd be cool to set up a VLAN.
Yeah.
One for all of our stuff and one for like connection to
And
the
I
computer.
have one here.
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, at the time, the early years, my time with those kind of devices at the bank, it was all command line.
Yeah.
You know, and that made me super awesome. This thing, the one that I have here at the house, like you're describing for what you've got.
Yeah.
GUI,
Yep.
check boxes, clixes, and apply boxes,
Yep.
and cancel. Oops, I went too far. Undo, blink.
It's just like the Synology NAS boxes.
Yeah, it's a super easy,
yeah.
intuitive UI. I'm like, fuck, I wouldn't even remember the command. Oh, it's all right here. Oh, click,
yeah.
click, click, set up, apply, done. Oh, hey!
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like, good. That's because I don't have the cycles. I'm a sad dad. I don't have the cycles to relearn iOS command line shit right now.
Well, and like I said, just looking through the vast settings in there, like, I don't know what probably 95% of it does.
And the part of me is jealous when Mike talks about what he's set up there, and I know Will's probably got the same kind of stuff because Mike talks about having conversations with Will in the setup stuff. So I gather it's still pretty near Will's wheelhouse as well. I remember doing it. I love tinkering with that stuff, but the time has escaped me in order to be back in wear those pants,
right,
or hat, however you want to.
Well, there's an interest and whether or not it's necessary.
Yeah,
if you don't need to do it, you're just not going to do it. It already does the things.
Yeah. Does the security hat wearer of me want to be as safe and protected as I could be? Absolutely. Does the sad dad hat in me, is he complacent with as good as we've got? Yeah, because
everyone can get on with their Switch.
Yeah, there's a literal printout of my Wi-Fi SSID and password on my fridge. If you walk in the house, you're gonna see it. Get on the network. It's okay.
Yeah.
If you start scanning with a Netcat or start benching my network and looking for open ports,
you might find some shit.
You're going to find some shit.
Now,
and if you do, I hope you're entertained. But if you steal my shit, hey.
So here's something interesting. Early on in the Wi-Fi days, you could have a Wi-Fi router. So I think this was in the 2000s. This is like right when it started becoming mainstream. We had one of the first, it was the first, they call it the Graphite Airport base station.
Okay.
It looked like a little
oven
UFO.
Oh, okay.
But we had one at home. That was the only way I had to go Wi-Fi at home. And interestingly, the base stations also had a modem built into them. So if you had a device that was on Wi-Fi and it didn't have a connection, it would hit the modem, and the modem would dial up out of the thing, and then connect.
Okay.
So then you would have Wi-Fi to your modem.
And we're talking,
yeah, and it was built in. It was built in along with Ethernet, of course.
Okay.
So we had Wi-Fi, and there was apparently across the street, on the other side of Pleasant Grove from our house, the CEO or somebody that was part of back then Sure West or Roseville Internet. It was actually Roseville Internet way back then. Lived over there, and they were driving. Someone that was from one of the news stations was driving around with a Wi-Fi hacker, some guy that knew how to hack Wi-Fi, and they were driving around all the neighborhoods just looking for Wi-Fi's to crack.
Okay.
Mine was open. I didn't even have a password on it at the time because no one was using it.
Okay.
Okay. And so I got a knock on the door, and they wanted to interview me for a piece they were doing about Wi-Fi security and internet security. And all this shit. And they were like, "Well, you didn't have a password." I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't really care."
Wow.
And I wasn't too worried about being able to get into my systems or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really worried about sharing my connection with people if they wanted to get on and like, I don't know, whatever
they were doing.
But then after they interviewed me, they told me that the head of Roseville Internet lived across the street, and they were able to get in that dude's
oh boy,
his Windows desktop machine at the house.
Well, yeah,
and
I believe that.
They weren't able to get in any of my systems. So I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But then after that, I like put a password on my Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, that was like in 2000. That was a long time ago. But that was an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah.
You know, we had this war driver or somebody that
yeah.
we drove around with him and for this piece, and he was able to break into his Wi-Fi over there, and we saw that you have one because they came up to the house. They're like, "Do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have a Wi-Fi?" And they knew the name of the Wi-Fi, and I'm like, "Yeah, that's mine." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Sweet.
It was such a weird thing.
Do you want these pictures of your wife naked with a rabbit? Like, what's that about? And you're like, whoa.
Yeah,
you see me wearing the panda suit with no pants. I need to have that back.
It was just funny because she was like, we were able to get on your connection, but we couldn't get into any of the systems or anything like that. And I was like, okay. And then after that, I like turned the password on and set a password on.
Really a lot of that, it was the Wild West. Pretty much the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like people, I put my number of hours in doing kind of like the same kind of footprinting.
Yeah.
In the apartments we used to live at behind the mall. Like, so who can I see here?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, what's going on here? Ooh. I'm not saying that things were done, but they may have been just for the sake of this is so stupidly easy. You didn't need those Dixie Chicks MP3s anyway.
I have a story.
Go.
Speaking of, this is right on the same vein. So I think it was the same era Wi-Fi, maybe a little bit later, probably a newer airport. Everything was working. And then my neighbor got Wi-Fi at his house. He got some, I don't know, Asus or what, I don't know what it was. But what happened was every time his Wi-Fi was turned on or went online, it would kick off my machines off of mine. And it was the weirdest shit. And I was like, what the fuck? I just lose internet connection.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I would go back in and scan what Wi-Fi was available, it would show this, and it was like everything was the default naming and everything.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, what the fuck is this? So I just attach to it, and my computer goes, hey, you're on. And I'm like, on the internet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's open. And I'm like, that's interesting. So then I go on my computer and I look up what the router number is, the IP number of the router, and I plug that into the browser, and it pulls up the login screen for whatever it was.
Okay.
Linksys or whatever bullshit it was. And I'm like, I think it was Linksys. Oh, this is interesting.
That's not me.
And I do a Google search real fast. Default Linksys password,
admin password.
Yeah. And it gives me that, and I fucking plug it in. Boom. I'm looking at the settings of the Linksys. And I'm like,
here we go.
Well, it has a button in there, disable Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
Disable wireless. Click that, hit apply, boom. My wireless comes back up. Everybody's happy.
Uh-huh.
Then like a day later, boom, my shit goes offline again. I'm like, what the fuck? And I go and sure as shit, their stuff's there. Log into it again, type in the password. I'm in there, disable Wi-Fi, hit apply, boom. Their shit goes down. Their shit goes down, and my stuff comes back up, and I'm like happy.
Yeah.
Then it never came back online ever again, and I think they thought it was bad, so they probably returned it. But that was as far as I had ever gotten into like hacking someone's shit. It was like, your stuff is fucking up my stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was one of the first things I told Brett, like as we were setting up his stuff. I'm like, we don't have to change your SSIDs, your Wi-Fi names, but we need to change this from admin password.
Oh, absolutely.
We have to change this one.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, as in our struggles of getting the Netgears to update, that was the one thing. I'm like, we can let the rest of this bake until we're comfortable. We'll rename network stuff later. But I said, we need this to take.
Right.
And update. I can't I cannot leave your house
without this password
with you having default fucking username and password. There's no way.
No,
will not happen.
Definitely don't.
Like yeah. And it took it, so it was fine.
And someone's probably screaming at their whatever they're listening at. Just change the channel. Well, I fucked with all the channel setups. It didn't matter.
Hey, well, I taught him a lesson. He learned.
Yeah, his shit went away, and then he bought something
the
different.
new Wild West now is the Bluetooth. If you remember, like the early years of the Bluetooth, it was you had to have like the 4-digit passcode to finish the pairing.
Right.
Apparently, that was too much for the normal consumer base. So they all went.
Oh, it's 0000.
It's 000. We're just gonna stop there. We're gonna let you pair and push it through. Listen, I am just about at the point now with, I like
Sonos.
Yeah. If that worked,
oh, here we go.
If that worked, I'd be fucking down.
I just prodded the bear.
Yeah, well, you poked it with a hot steel.
Maybe you could put that on your gig. Never mind.
Fuck. God. We're, I can only listen to so much of 70s soft rock. I love myself Eagles. Yeah. I love myself, Do
you have a Muzak in your office or something?
But when, I try to be respectful. But if you're going to start blaring all my neighbors random played out music while I'm just trying to get some external chore piece being done, I haven't yet, but I'll walk. I mean, I'm Bluetooth and my phone, I guarantee you, is going to reach that far. I want to pull up some porn attached to your speaker, and then you're, oh, God, you're a stepmom, and then can just let it run until you can figure out, wait, but
now I just saw a TikTok.
Okay.
And it was like this, there was like a bunch of friends got together and they were hanging around and they're all watching TV.
Okay.
And they're like, oh my God, she doesn't know. And they like show this girl that's outside on the patio.
Okay.
With this door, sliding glass doors closed. And they're like, she doesn't know. And they show the TV and her phone is like showing, is mirroring.
Oh, mirroring. Okay.
And she's looking at dudes and zooming in on like fucking pecs and shit.
Okay.
And then it's like she is all of a sudden texting somebody that's like someone's boyfriend.
Oh shit.
And they're like, what do we? And it was like,
someone turn off the TV.
Oh my gosh.
She was mirroring.
Yes. She, without her, I don't think she realized it. She was mirroring to the TV.
Oh.
And they were all watching what she was doing on the TV screen.
Like,
she doesn't know.
Candace.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something like someone had the FLIR attachment and they were watching her fart.
Oh, no.
But no, that's almost just as embarrassing.
Now, the other one is, like, if you don't have an iPhone, it'll do AirDrop, which is a really, really cool function where you can see people nearby, and it all works through Bluetooth, and you can say, I want to AirDrop this picture to them, and back in the day, they didn't have to accept it. It would just happen, but now you have to accept it.
Right.
So my daughter, when she used to compete in dance, we would be at these dance competitions and you'd be in a theater with a couple hundred people.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I'm sitting in this theater, all of a sudden my phone buzzes and I'm like, someone's just airdropping me some shit, a picture. It's like somebody I don't know. And it's like, so.
Do you like my mouth?
Yeah.
What?
So this happens a few times for somebody, and I'm kind of sitting up high, so I'm like looking around like someone's snickering. I don't find them.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay. And so on my phone, I had a picture of Nacho, my old dog, taking a shit.
Nice.
Like all hunched over with poop coming out of his ass. And then I airdropped that to them. They never airdropped me again.
And it stopped. Yeah. You fixed the Wi-Fi real fast, just like, and the airdrops.
Yeah.
I feel like you just need to keep a couple of those pictures just for, but now it's authenticated. Now you have to
accept or decline it, but
it used to be just go.
It would just go. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I think originally when it first came out, which is kind of funny you think about it, that they would even allow that feature to go without someone accepting it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that doesn't seem normal for Apple.
No.
Usually, you do want to authenticate.
It didn't come until later where you had to accept the incoming.
Yeah.
So you would get, I think you'd get a message. You got AirDrop, so and so AirDrop to you, and you go have to go find it. But anyway, I thought that was funny.
Funny time. Yeah, but Bluetooth seems to be not
as secure or
no.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've stood out in the backyard just to turn on. What can I attach to?
Yeah.
Because usually I get out there and I think I'm gonna, but then I'm attached to mine and play a thing, and I got to go do a thing.
Yeah.
I seem to always forget, lose my train of thought but it would be nice to fuck with someone. Like, what's out here?
Well, because the other part of that is if you're working outside and you got your speakers somewhere and you walk away, it's going to detach and reattach and,
right.
like there's that whole thing.
Yeah, if I was going to be messing with someone, I would have an alibi. Like I'd be set my phone over on the planter box, attached to it, do the thing, and I would obviously have to know that they were outside. So if you start fucking playing your Fleetwood Mac again, and it's not a good Stevie Nicks one, then you may end up with porn. And, oh, look, I'm weed eating out here. I'm not even listening to music. Motor stops, and I hear, I puppy, I. And now I'm going to be like, you okay over there? And then as someone's like, take it inside.
Turn it off.
Take the speaker inside. Fuck off. How you doing? You going to think about that again? Huh?
Well, I mean, can you even... I don't think you can make it require a number. Because a lot of things just pair,
They just pair.
Yeah.
Things nowadays just pair.
Yeah.
There's no, do you want to allow this thing to pair to your, I have not run into unless you're a Sonos.
Well, a device doesn't give you the opportunity to display. Like if it's just a dumb speaker.
Yeah.
It doesn't get, here's the number. It just goes, okay, cool.
They gave up that ghost long ago. If I turned on the JBL thing out here, I could attach to it, start playing music. There would be nothing to stop you from to pair to it. Yeah,
just roll up on weekend.
Some random Bluetooth.
What
all
you
these
doing
little,
today, Jay?
I'm
out working in the yard. Okay, cool. Have fun with that. And then I just show up and start
dwarf porn. Something.
It doesn't even have to be dwarves.
Yeah.
I mean,
Celtic swallowings.
Oh God.
What? I don't know. I just thought Celtic.
Is there a kilt involved in that?
Probably. Yeah.
Oh,
like
a utilikilt?
What's under my kilt, bro? How about you swallow it? What? What? That's a thing? Okay. All right.
Oh man. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Does your TV here allow you to screen share?
I think so, but we do most of our stuff through a Fire Stick, and it has the Fire Stick.
It has that built in.
But it relative to some of the Apple devices that we have in the house, there's like a casting app on it, so I can cast to it and mirror to it. But I've downloaded an app through Amazon's App Store to do that.
Yeah.
I think anybody could. The Sony home theater receiver will take casts, Bluetooth casting to it as well.
Video and audio?
Just
audio.
I know audio for sure. I don't know if it'll take video casting.
Now, see, my Yamaha receiver at home is old enough that it has a optional iPod dock.
Wow, that's old, dude.
I know, it needs to be replaced. And I actually have that iPod dock, but I don't have an iPod to plug into it. I want to replace it with something that has like network capability and all that kind of cool stuff. But it's interesting because the TV, the LG that we got, shit, was that almost 2 years ago? Yeah, it was almost 2 years ago, right before the pandemic. It shows up like as you can share to it from your phone. It's weird that you can just, send it,
Yeah.
and then you can, if you can just interrupt whatever's on TV with.
I think the new Samsung that we talked about a couple shows back might have that. But it also has like essentially like a Amazon Fire Stick built into it as well, relative to all of the streaming apps.
Yeah.
So I think I have a Fire Stick plugged into it just because that's what the old Vizio had.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like nowadays a lot of the TVs, like you said, are coming with casting to it, as well as most of the bulk streaming services baked in without needing a stick.
Yeah, it's got Netflix and all this stuff on there, but we don't we don't use that from the TV. If we're like Netflixing, literally we're doing it off the Apple TV.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Same with us. We use the piss out of our Fire Stick, Amazon Fire Stick.
Like it doesn't have any piss left?
Yeah, it's fully drained.
Oh.
Like none.
Zero bladder.
Zero. Like tapped out.
It's like
nothing in there.
The Sahara Desert of Fire Stick bladders.
Yeah.
That's wow.
So we're close, but so I'm gonna wrap up on some news for here in the house. So we had this chat with
News of the Weird.
News of the Weird. News of the wife. News of the wife. So Venus just recently, not recently, she had been for probably the good last year and change, been looking to get back into the workforce. Now, before we started having kids, she was a full-time employee for the county. So we were a two-income, two-person household. She took time off to be full-time mom for the last almost 18 years. And just in the last year and change, like I said, the kids are teenage and up. Piper's senior, almost halfway into close to being 18 herself. Venus has free time. We're like, well, costs are going up, and we've talked a number of things. Like there's extra expenses. She's starting to get free time. She started putting the effort and desire to get back into the workforce. Now, I can't tell you because I don't know from my personal experience, but from hers, it was a huge, huge leap into the deep end. She's been a mom, full-time parent for 18 years, been out of
There's an employment gap there.
Oh, huge gap. And she's
basically a new employee.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she had to put herself out there in a place of complete unknown.
Does it say 2003 to 2021 mom?
Yeah. I mean, I would, that's obviously funny, but I mean, that's full time, full-time parent.
Yeah.
She, a lot of interviews. She got help from Sarah and Angie. #hi to both of you guys in rebuilding her resume. Obviously her skill sets were no longer towards what she was looking to get into, but she has plenty of experience doing stuff with her dad part-time. She's obviously a very smart and capable woman. She knows that.
Yeah.
Everyone who knows her knows that. But trying to get back into the workforce.
Bob Dole knows that.
Bob Dole knows.
Yeah.
I said Norm Macdonald.
I know.
She got turned down a number of times. She really wanted some things, some positions that just didn't go her way. She was really frustrated a number of times. I could tell she was disappointed a number of times. She kept at it, and she had, I'm not quite sure how far I'm allowed to say, but she had she interviewed for a position and didn't get it, but she hit a good relationship. She had a good interaction with the person that was doing the hiring, that even though she continued to interview for other jobs, that person said, hey, this one, I've got something that may come up, watch for me again.
Right.
And in the meantime, she had actually been given an opportunity. She'd been essentially hired to do another spot, which she turned down because she knew this other place was going to open up specifically for her because she had such a good feedback from this other manager.
Right.
So Venus literally had to take a leap of faith on, I'm going to turn you down for something that wasn't 100% guaranteed.
Yikes.
For what it was 2 weeks later, and it was Monday. Both of us were like, do we, someone's going to call, right? Because she turned down something else.
Yeah.
And that person was pretty disappointed. Like, fuck, really? She's like, yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. And we were both, I was like pins and needles because I know she put in the hard work. And I knew she turned down something that was a lock for this. And she finally ended up at the end of the day, Monday, she got the call. And it was fucking, I'm excited. Yeah. I'm super proud. Tuesday, today's Wednesday. Tuesday, I bought sushi, to celebrate. And I told the kids at dinner, I said, listen, if you're looking for inspiration on hard work pays out, but you may get hit in the face and frustrated with non-success. I said, look at what your mom just did.
Yeah.
I said, she was frustrated and disappointed a number of times, but she kept at it and she got what she wanted. I said, it's never settle. It's okay to compromise, but never settle. And she didn't. It was a number of times.
Yeah, get the thing you want.
Hit the brick wall.
Yeah.
Didn't get what she wanted, but she kept at it. I said, if there's a golly gee, you don't know anything about this, like child to parent kind of experience, I said, look at what your mom just did. I said, I can't give you this lesson. I haven't done it, but your mom literally has. Like, if you want a hero or someone to look up to in this type of example of nothing's going my way and like, why don't I just, like, your mom was in that same position
for a long time.
She did this thing. She did it well, but noticed that there was a time to do something different that was a leap of faith, like unknowns, frustrating's, and got what she wanted. Like we talked about earlier, it's not high cerebral things, and that's not what she's looking for. She's looking to have employment, get paid, good benefits. She got exactly what she was looking for, got exactly what she wanted. Hopefully the rest of the team, she gets along there. And, you can only hope for the best when you're working with people. But she dialed in exactly what she wanted.
She's a stat now.
Huh?
She's a stat.
A stat?
Yeah, she's one of the employment stats.
That
we'll see on the
and
the
now
news.
Her tax dollars kind of pay for her own salary. So it's
I mean,
it's money back in our pocket.
Yeah,
it's like, so we don't even.
You're paying her with your taxes, and then she's getting paid with your taxes, and then paying taxes on the money that she's getting.
Right, something like that.
Is that double taxation? Kinda.
But she's also my representation.
Taxation with representation?
With my
Okay.
I don't know if there's some sort of kickback involved because now she's.
I mean, good for her. That's awesome. Congratulations to Venus.
Yes. And knowing how hard it was for her, I'm glad to have a partner share that experience with the kids. Like, it's one of those things that I have no experience with.
Yeah.
And heaven forbid I should ever lose a job and have to go through the same struggle. Yeah. But it still wouldn't be the same as hers because I haven't left the workforce. Mm-hmm. She went from 18 years of, a mom trade to having to get back into a workforce that was foreign.
Which is no pay and no benefits. Well, there's some benefits.
Right.
I mean, you have kids and all that stuff. Family, whatever. But,
free sausage.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I mean, that's...
Yeah. So if we're getting into anywhere, it would be that hashtag love your wife, hashtag you're awesome.
And also, you can do it.
You can do it. And, like I said, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a good example for the kids. I think that's the super takeaway, and everybody enjoyed the sushi.
Yeah.
So, and Piper,
except
I don't
me.
know if I mentioned it. Piper got her first job too.
Oh yeah.
Starting into the workforce. It's part-time. Obviously, she's in school, so it's not full-time. You're working at a place at the mall, back of the store kind of thing, stocking and whatnot, but is on deck for cross-training for like overflow during holidays and busy season stuff.
Yeah.
I think her first day is Saturday or Sunday. So, there's all kinds of lessons, and I was telling Venus, we were on a run about Piper specifically in her new job, as we were talking about things like the workforce experience, how it's different from like friends and whatnot, and over communicating to your managers or superiors and how to talk and the workforce. I said, we have a unique dynamic here in our house where our kids, outside of band, which isn't really necessarily competitive, neither of our kids have done competitive sports. So the dynamics of having a coach and like a tiered structure of like team leads in a sports, like a captain,
right.
And then like a hierarchy of taking orders from someone and playing as a part of like a team. Neither of our kids have that experience, so there's nothing for them to draw on where, as parents, I can say, remember when you were in soccer and you had a team captain that the rest of the team looked up to, and you voiced I have problems with Timmy and he never gives me the ball, and you worked out conflicts with the captain, who then maybe you had to escalate to a coach. We don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of those things, when we were discussing some of Piper's paperwork and filling out for timesheets and whether or not she may have I need you to fill in and have you checked in with your boss and communicated that you have this on this date. It's really net new, because as a parent who has never had a kid in a sport, all I have to draw on is my experience, which is, shotgun to kill a mosquito kind of thing. She needs basic level, like, here's how I would handle this, but I'm coming at it like, politics in the workplace is horse shit, kind of thing. And you've got to do all of these things, dodging, when, as I was explaining to Venus, I'm like, this is net new. This is a new one for a workplace.
Well, I mean, we just had this discussion because Chandler.
Really?
Well, I mean, he's new to like sort of big company doings and things, and he had that issue a couple weeks ago, and we went to my in-laws for a birthday party, and we were all talking about it at the table, and he kind of came away with it from all of us by basically saying, hey, there's a game to play.
Yeah.
You have to understand what the game is.
Yeah.
You have to understand when you can do things and when you can't do things.
Yeah.
Period.
Right.
You have to play the game.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be like a fucking asshole. Like,
right.
You should enjoy yourself at work. That's been my motto since day one, is like, I don't want to go to work. My motto is, if I can't have fun at work, I don't want to be there. Right. Right. But also, you can't always be having fun at work necessarily. Right. You have to know when can do that stuff. And
there
when
are
you can't
meta
do that
games.
Stuff.
Games is probably not fair, but the bottom line is every workplace
has its nuance.
Yeah. Sometimes it's very open and casual, and other times there's politics on a level that would make your head spin or make politicians head spin.
Right.
Backstabbing and how to deal with some people. Certainly, diversity and ethics issues. Right?
Yeah.
It gets complicated really fast, and some people are more receptive. Some workplaces are more receptive, but I think he found in our experiences and Mike's in general as well, once you get into certain enterprises and new workplaces, you have to be able to take like a step back and
observe
to see. And you're not going to catch them all. Absolutely not.
Well, and that's the thing, too. As a new employee, that's kind of like your function, other than what you're doing to get paid.
Right.
But your function is to sort of sit back a little bit, kind of figure out the lay of the land.
Yeah.
And
where's
sort of adjust
where's my
yourself.
place?
Yeah.
How do I fit in?
Mm-hmm.
Don't look for loopholes to be a fucking dick kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, you need to be able to take that read, take that assessment.
I'm going to quote the gambler here. You got to know when to hold them, and you got to know
right.
when to fold.
And they're always properly. Yes. I mean, in short, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean you have to always be side-eyeing every person.
Yeah.
Because not every workplace is that way.
Yeah.
I think when we were talking with him in a larger conversation, your perspective with your employment is much more casual than some of the places Mike has worked and certainly the place where I work.
Right.
And so our assessments were coming from almost 3 different places.
Right.
Into his one funnel feed of reading an issue his way. And that it's just a lesson. There was a lesson there.
Yeah.
And
that was the big thing, was like, I think the takeaway here is you have to figure out when you can, there's a lesson being learned here.
Right.
And,
yeah,
but it's tough when you come into the workplace and everything's new.
Absolutely.
And you don't know all of the little nuanced stuff that goes along with, I have to do this with my time card, or I need to log in and do this, or, all these different things. Like, you may not know that stuff, and that's fine.
Right.
You'll figure it out. And if you get chewed out for something, it's not because you're an idiot. It's because you're learning a lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And not everyone is there to fuck you when you make the mistake.
Sure.
Perhaps their delivery is wrong, and that's a lesson that you may be able to, like, okay, abusive supervisor, perhaps, or someone that's not, has their own things.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got lessons. No one is perfect, but I think it's your ability to adapt to the lessons that you're, imparted on.
Yeah.
It's how do I deal with this? What are my takeaways? I know I made a mistake. Perhaps they made a mistake. What can I do better to help alleviate me making this same mistake again?
Yeah.
It's never foolproof.
No.
Absolutely.
And some people don't ever get it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some people don't, dude. I guarantee you. And they're on my team.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, in tying back to Piper, some of those dynamics you learn in competitive sports.
Yeah.
I played competitive sports. I did baseball at a very small amount. I did soccer at a very small amount. But I played a lot of football, and I did track and field and cross country in high school. So those things.
I've watched Ted Lasso.
Dude,
So,
and if you're not watching Ted Lasso,
sorry,
you should watch Ted. Are you caught up yet?
I think we have show 8 of season 2 coming up.
Okay,
we haven't quite.
I don't know what the numbers translate to,
either.
but they're all good. Anyway, and on that note, we're good to go.
Okay. Do you have a list now?
We've covered the rest.
Oh, here we go. I'm going to read. Wash your hands. Don't forget to wash your hands.
Wash your ass.
Wear the mask.
Return the cart.
Swallow the beef.
Get the shot.
And do the kindness.
He said swallow the beef, by the way.
wash your face too.
Yeah.
Because
hey, if I threw one in there, you can throw one in there.
Okay.
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Bye.